Now, the Holy Spirit spoke to me later on about this hell experience. He said, Franklin, he said, the devil's been at this for a very long time in movies. He said, there's a movie that you love, and in this movie, it has your favorite scene. He says, every time you see this scene, you bust out laughing. And every time the movie comes on TV, you always say, I hope I didn't miss my favorite scene. He said, it's The Wizard of Oz. And I said, huh? He said, you remember that scene when Dorothy walks up to the tree and plucks that apple? And he said, what does the tree do? I said, the tree slaps her hand and says, that's not nice. And he says, every time you see that tree branch go, bah, you bust out laughing. And he says, what did the tree say then? And I said, the tree said, if you wanted an apple, all you had to do was ask. And he says, then what did the trees do? He says, and you bust out laughing at this next thing they do. I said, they turn around and they have these evil faces on their tree trunks, and they start bouncing down there towards them with these evil looks on their tree faces. And he says, then what happens? And he says, he says, you laugh at this, and I think about I laugh, I chuckle. He goes, those trees take their branches and apples, and they start hitting them and chucking them at the apples at them and pegging them on, bah, bah. And he says, you sit there and you have tears coming out of your eyes laughing at that scene. He said, Franklin, that came from those trees you saw in hell. He said, the creator of the Wizard of Oz saw what you saw and put that into the Wizard of Oz. And when I thought about those trees after he said that, I said, the way they acted was the same way when I approached them, they acted towards me. He went down a list of movies that I had saw as a child. And he said, the devil is in this one. He put stuff in this one. He put stuff in this one. And I'm going to say this one movie because he's told me, he says, look back at that movie you saw as a kid. It was called The Legend. He said, the depiction of Satan in that movie, he said, that's exactly how he looks. He said, his horns don't go out to the side. They don't go shooting back behind his head. He said, they come forward. He said it was as if someone saw Satan himself and then decided to go to the movies, the studio, and recreate from memory what he saw, and he put him in that movie. He said, if you want to know what he looks like sitting on his throne, he said, look at that movie. That's exactly what he looks like.